Right, so let's learn how to make this simple flap. And the first thing to do here is to mark 6 inches from the center of your fabric neckline. Then you cut out a little bit. Now this cutout is going to be less than 0.2, like 0.1, a little bit, right? Just cut it out in this form. Now this will help you to make the flap not to overlap on each other. Then once you have cut it out in this form, this is what you have. Then you have already prepared your flap in this form. Now trim a little bits of this in this way. Now this is hand knitting, hand embroidering, right? I paid, I think, 4,000 naira to do this because it's just very simple. It has different grades, like the bigger the embroidering, the costlier it is, or the more expensive it is. Then here you have this one. Then bear in mind that I am stitching from the inside, so just stitch down this point this way, just sew it down from here. You can do either of them first. Just stitch it down to this very point. Make sure you don't exceed that notching, and bear in mind that we must stop at 6 inches. 6 inches for all adults. Cut off your threads as shown in this way. Then bring the other flap, right? This other flap already has been folded in this form. Then place it outside or inside as well, just the way you did on the other one. Then stitch from there. Stitch from there this way, making sure that it's lapping properly. And please bear in mind that the way you do this should be consistent, right? So whatever you do on these outfits or you do here should be consistent on your subsequent sewings. Then give a notch here. Now that notching must end at that inch you use in joining each of them, right? Give a notch. So this notch could either be done before you start stitching or after you have sewn, right? It must end on that exact point where your threading ended. So once you have notched that particular point, then you first of all arrange the right panel flap, the one that will be underneath. So you arrange it, make sure it's properly tucked in here, then you thread. Now bear in mind that the cutting is the same for all the illustrations I've made on drafting, right? So stitch all through to this very point. Make sure you arrange it properly. It should lap in this way. Then stitch it all through. Now this flap, this one I am sewing now, could either be gummed or not gummed depending on the fabric you have, and also depend on the finishing you want to achieve, right? So you stitch all across to this very point. Then after that, you first of all stitch the outer part of this flap 6 inches from here. Stitch it 6 inches from here. Now this stitching you are making is going to give you that finishing and make the flap to lap when you have sewn or when you are done sewing. Then from there you enter the neckline, lock it up this way, and then you also arrange it properly. So you make sure you drag out the underneath fabric and tuck in all the edges properly. Please take your time to do this. Don't be in a haste. This could take you up to 5 to 10 minutes depending on how fast you are. So stitch all through that way and make sure that the flap is lapping as well, right? By the fact that you removed or deducted that 1/4 inch from the stitching, it will make it to lap without overlapping excessively or going across to the other side. So once you are done doing this, you hold it all through down this way. Make sure that there's no squeeze or squeezes anywhere, and also make sure that this flap is lapping at the center point where you ironed. Remember that your front panel must be ironed correctly. So you stitch it all through this way. you stitch all through this way. Bring it up, up, make sure it laps properly. So that's the reason I'm just trying to show you the processes so that you know that it took time to achieve this. So you won't go and assume that it's a 2 minutes or 1 minute stitching or arrangement factor. Good clothes takes time. That's the truth. None of the good clothes you make is easy. As long as you are being careful of the finishing, your threading combinations, your positioning and everything, it takes time. So don't be in a haste while doing yours. Now these rumples here will be removed by iron, right? The ironing, the rumples are not evident enough. They're just as a question of ironing from the wrong side, which I will also show you guys how to iron. Then you stitch all through to this very point, lap it properly as shown, and then end it before the neckline closure. 6 inches before the neckline is where you must stitch your what's it called, your flap to end, so that the person's head will be able to come out smoothly. So here you must iron from the back. Please note the processes. Don't iron from the front. You use your steam iron from the back. Now the reason for this is to make sure that there are no rumples, or there are no iron stain rather, on the front. And also, even if you have stain, it will still be at the back. Then after this, you take your fabric, right? I picked fabric, to protect. Even if I'm ironing the back, I will still protect the fabric from getting squeezed or whatever on the iron, right? So you see, it came out at least better off. I will still iron again, then iron the edges, carefully place my iron, and try to use my iron to remove the rumple. So in most cases, most people will say, let me finish sewing, I'll iron later. And that is when they will start having bad jobs, because if you sew any stage, you are meant to iron it out, so that if you have any error, you will observe it on time before you go far. So once you iron, you also apply your uh, cold iron on it, and then make sure that everything is properly done. So I think it's better off now. So let me continue with this, with the joining. So here I am trying to align this button to enable me have my piping done, so which I have done. So now let me now put the pocket. So the pocket could be measured from the shoulder point 7 inches down from here, or you push up 2 inches and mark at 9. It's still the same thing, right? So now the gap from the flap is 1 inch, 1.5. It all depends on the customer's chest size. If you have a bigger measurement, like the one I'm making now is a chest line of 47, right? So the gap from the flap will be way bigger than the normal regular sizes we do make. So that's the reason for that, which could be 1 inch on some cases, 3/4 inch on some cases, half an inch, some cases 2 inches. It all boils down to the size of your customer's chest measurement, right? So here I have my sleeve. I am trying to thread my sleeve. Even after hemming this sleeve, I still have to thread it. Now the reason for this is to make sure that the hemming does not pull off later on. So I want to join my shoulder. So I will bring my hemming gum, place it properly. So I will bring my hemming gum now, and then place it from here, making sure that the both neckline are aligning, and then the flap, or sorry, the back facing rather, the back facing will come on top, right? So bringing my hemming gum from here, I have cut it out. The size of that shoulder length is what I want to, or you must have always. Then place it exactly at the back or the wrong side of the facing, and then you stitch your normal joining. Like I do tell us, hemming gum will help you to achieve a perfect finishing on the shoulder region when you iron, whereby you don't need to top stitch the shoulder anymore. So you join it this way, 1/2 inch, like you have seen. So after you have done that, the next thing to do here is to also repeat the same process on the other shoulder as well. You join as well. So in this video, we also must have been learning a lot, at least seeing how these things were done or are being made. It will help you to give you more inspiration on how to go about doing yours and give you that confidence when you have a very clear and self-explanatory videos just like this. So also, place the hemming gum on the other side. Please bear in mind that because of the fact that I am trying to stitch from the back block, I will have to place the hemming gum underneath, which is where the back facing is at the front panel. I think that makes sense to you. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, but just make sure that you place the hemming gum at where it's meant to be. So now I have done the joining. I want to iron the shoulder area. So the first thing I will do is to place fabric there and make sure I drag the both panels to lap properly. Now this shoulder place I am dragging is to make sure that the joining or the hemming gum will gum the appropriate points of the outfit. You don't have to, just gum without aligning properly. So look at how beautiful our job is coming out. So here I am trying to lock my back facing. After the back facing, I will go ahead and do my neck trimming, shoulder trimming, and I will join the sleeves and go ahead and do neck piping and then lock the body of the outfit. So here I am threading at the tip. You could thread at the tip or thread 1 inch or 1/2 inch after the tip rather. Then make sure that everything is arranged, like it's arranged. That is the main thing here. So once everything is arranged properly this way, then you go all through this whole process or processes rather, and then this is what we have. So now we will iron the shoulder. Please note that these steps I am showing you is the steps I take both off camera and on camera. So you place a fabric on it, and if you have observed, I always use the same fabric I am making so that I don't use a wrong fabric that will bleed or that will drop color. If you use the wrong fabric that will bleed, it will really obstruct the finishing, or whatsoever be your fabric you are doing, it might stain it. So here I'm trying to trim my neck. The neck I have for this customer is 19.5 neck here, so I'm trimming it in this form. So please watch closely how I also trim my neck. So you could as well trim from here first, or fold it and trim from the previous way I have shown you in the other videos, right? So whichever one you want to do is still very much acceptable, but make sure that in trimming you don't over trim and give it a new cutting. You just have to align or arrange the excesses to make it be worn. So here, if you look at it, one side is a bit bigger here, so I have to align it very well and make sure that it gives me exact of one cut from when it's folded double this way. So after this now, the next to do here is to align the neck. Look at here, it's not equal, so I'm trying to trim the one under. So it's just a question of being careful and being calculative enough. Now when you're calculative enough, you don't have much things to worry about. So trying to brush or trim the mouth or the front neckline so that it comes out to be the same. So trim all along this line. So once you are done with this, so I will have to go and remeasure the neck before I go deeper in trimming, right? So now, once you measure the neckline you have, so 19.5 is what I have here. So I think I'm okay, but I just have to trim a little bit more here, in case of, to give it that comfort for my client to relax. So here I am done with the neck trimming. Let us now do the shoulder trimming. So the shoulder we have is a shoulder of 20, I think so, 20. So you must make sure you arrange your fabric in this form. Please follow the steps I am showing you in this video so you don't miss any important aspects of working, right? So here my shoulder is 20 and I have 20 3/4. So I will only trim, I will mark at 10.5, which is 10 and a half. That's 21, and then trim all through. My target is to trim to the depth where the front armhole is, which I have done here. So I will trim any excesses that is coming out from here. So I also notch my shoulder. So once you have notched your shoulder this way, the first thing to do here is to pipe the next thing rather to do is to pipe your neck. So remember I told you guys we have a particular spot or pattern of neck piping where you insert it at the first folding and not at the middle fold. So it helps you to give you that perfect finishing. Now the reason I changed my machine footer is because of the hand knitting embroidering design at the neckline. It won't allow the normal footer machine to flow, so I had to use the left hand footer of the invisible zip fixing to stitch that area so that it won't obstruct or spoil the hand knitting buttoning design I have on the neck region. So after you must have gone through these whole processes and protocols, the neck piping is also one aspect that I don't play with. So you still need to pay close attention to it and see how everything will come out. So see how neatly the beginning of the piping is. See how it's moving, right? So please don't forget to watch this video to the very end. Learn how these things could be achieved. See, the trick of piping is to make sure that you tuck in the neckline to the very end where the neck folding is, so that it doesn't have breakages or rumples on the neck region. So when you're done doing this, you stitch all through. You see how smooth and neat my stitching is. So when you go all through these whole protocols and processes, you'll be rest assured that the outcome of your job will be perfect. Because the joy of every designer is to make something worthwhile or worth it that will be of great standard. So at the end of the piping as well, I also do the same folding I did at the beginning, trying to tuck it in at the point where the first folding was. All right, so after this, the next you will do is to iron your neck, then fix your sleeves, and of course you lock the body of your outfit. Now bear in mind that you could as well decide to double thread the neckline, run triple threads or 4 threads. It all depends on your choice, but make sure that whatever you are doing, you go through with the process of neat finishing, right? So fold it all through this way and then you continue. So now you tuck it in. Please watch how I will finish this area properly. I will bring it out and tuck it in on the first one. Watch. You see? So even at that this one will not work, I will still bring it out, and tuck it in at the first fold here. You see? So this will give you that more finishing effects. So these are one of the things you should be doing so that your work will be good. It will be neatly finished outwardly and also inwardly. So after you must have done that, then you now double thread at the tip. Then your threading as well should be straight as possible. You must maintain a straight hand or straight line while sewing the tip, please. Very important. These are the things that makes you a good fashion designer. So when you have gone through all these whole processes of threading, joining and assembling the components of this outfit, then the next you will do now is packaging, which I will show you guys in my subsequent videos. So I'm trying to run a thread again at the middle, by placing the footer at the middle and making sure that the threading is centralized between the both first and second threads I have made initially. So after I must have done this, so this is the result, or the result you will achieve, right? So the next I will show you guys now will be on the sleeve joining. So which I also told us that the sleeve joining must come from that centered notching which we made, or which we do at the shoulder, right? So cut your threads as well, and then let us do our notching, our sleeve joining from that notching, right? Don't forget, please, it's very important. So you start from there to join. So I believe you must have watched my other videos on sleeve joining. Now the reason I am trying to show you guys again is in case you have, or you did not get it rightly at the first time. So this will be a clearer view of this video. So once you have gotten to this stage, the next to do here is to weave the shoulder, or the shoulder joining to the sleeve, and then lock the body, and then weave the inside and do your hemming. So, and that will be the end of your video of the sewing, right? Then, like I said, I will show you guys packaging on ironing, trying to give you that finished looks of everything. So I believe you must have learned this now. So we'll move over to the next style in question, right? So which I will also show you guys how to go about it. All right, thanks guys for watching. See you guys in my next video. So I do hope you enjoy it. The sleeve joining is the last part here. After that, I will go ahead and do my locking, which I have shown you guys in other videos as well. But if you still need to sit more, you can still let me know in the discussion group, and then I will make the video available as well. Bye bye.